more so because we are curators in the area that are niched in entertainment and stuff, things of that nature, but we like to stand on what's important as well. And we're very tapped into the community, so it's only right to create spaces where we can bring each other together and discuss things that should be discussed as a community. So here for Black History Month, we're going to talk today about some of the difficulties and solutions that we can discuss together about our community and, just making change around here. So I want everyone to introduce themselves, but I'm going to just go around the panel. Our moderator today will be Sasha Spruill. Let her introduce herself in a moment. We have Jacqueline Horton. She goes by Real World Changer. Activist, movement strategist, even an event producer herself. We have Tommy Riemann Jr. here. He owns City on My Chest, and I believe you have a sports academy that you just launched as well, right? I'll let him get into that. Rod Baby, owner of Traptastic. Gabe Niles, one of our infamous producers and DJs from the area. We have Nato here. He owns half of Granby Street, Locker Room. He has a barber shop, and then recently opened Republic right there on Granby Street as well. We have Miss Danica Royster, who just got her chair. Well, I think you re-got your chair as city councilwoman for the city of Norfolk. And then we have Batman here. If you know him, he's handled a lot of music things in the area. I like to call him a music specialist. So I want everyone to introduce themselves, but today's panel, you all.
All right, can we give the panelists a hand, please? All right, so I'm Sasha Spruill. I will be moderating today. I am from the 757, Virginia Beach to be exact. I'm so happy to be here with y'all today. This is a very special conversation because it's about us, and it's Black History Month. So I want to give panelists an opportunity to share more about themselves before we get the conversation going. We'll start from the left side, well, y'all's right side.
Took me by surprise on that one. How y'all doing? Mic check, mic check, mic check, check. How y'all doing? Everybody good? A little bit more energy. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Okay. How y'all doing? My name is Batman, VA promoter. I am a music marketing specialist and the CEO of Dark Knight ENT, which is a music marketing and promotion company. There you go.
Hey, how's everyone doing? My name is Danica Royce. Can you hear me? Oh, I can be loud. That's fine. Loud. That's what we project.
Can we get another mic? Can we get help on the mic, please?
Oh, yeah, love, we use this one. We use our mic.
Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Anything.
I love how Black men support Black women. Thank
Okay.
you. So, my name is Danica Royster, Norfolk City Council, Super Ward 7. I'm here because I want to have an important conversation. There's a lot of stuff happening in our community, and one of the things that when I ran on this community engagement and felt in the past had elected officials who they were just elected. They never came and asked us questions. They made decisions and didn't consult anyone. Or there's people giving us things that we didn't ask for. So I'm hoping that, I'm able to make a change on city council, and one of the ways that I need that change to happen is everyone in this room. So that's why I'm here today, is I need to build my army, and it looks like I got a bunch of soldiers here, so let's get to work.
I'm NATO. I don't. That was, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Snap. I don't even know. I'm NATO. I own several businesses on Granby. I started as a DJ out here 8-9 years ago, and I've been doing my thing. And like I said, I teach hair, I teach business at TCC, and I do a couple other things too.
How y'all doing? I'm Gabe Niles. I'm a producer, DJ. I've been doing things in this area since, like 06. I've seen it all out here. So, this is what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. Get the chord right. I'm bunched up. No, I'm Rod. I own the Traptastic. We do parties, we do events, show running, concerts, things like that. We make clothes. We do a lot of behind the scenes work with artists and stuff as well, artist development, management, things of that nature.
Check. How y'all doing? My name is Tommy Riemann. I'm from Newport News. Owner of City on My Chest clothing line. Also a former coach, college coach, NFL scout. Spent some time with the Steelers. New Orleans Saints, University of Miami, University of Virginia, Virginia Tech, couple schools, and a community activist as well.
Hey everyone, I'm Jackie. Some of y'all know me as Angie. Most of y'all probably know me as Real World Changer. I am originally from the Bronx, but VA definitely raised me. I am an activist and community organizer, so I work with a lot of families of police brutality. Currently working with Donovan Lynch's, Xavier Hill, which his aunt is there, so I thank her for showing up. He was murdered in Goochland, Virginia last year. So working with a lot of these families out here in the area, but I'm also the founder of the Underground 1865, where we work on bringing Black liberation through advocacy and education as well.
Thank you. Could we give another round of applause, please? So I am really excited for this conversation. As y'all can see, we have panelists from a lot of different backgrounds, different talents, and I think it's really important that we have these conversations in our spaces, these important conversations. And when we reach together and have them together with different backgrounds and different expertise, we can see what our problems are and kind of come together and talk about solutions. So I'm really excited about that. But my first question to the panelists is going to be directed to some of our politicians and activists on this panelist. What led you to this position? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit. How do you see yourself being solution-oriented and regarding the issues specifically that impact the Black community, even more specifically here in the 757?
So what led me to run is about, 2019? Me and some of my friends, we got together and we were having conversations surrounding the election when 45 was still in office. And I was talking about how much frustration I had with the federal government. And one of my friends who's been an activist for years, we had a conversation and he said, it's interesting that, you have all this energy, but how many people do you know actually step beyond the keyboard and actually say they're gonna do something about it? So I took that as a call to action and I did this event. I did a YouTube series and a panel discussion with different electeds all over the Commonwealth and activists too, and it was called The Power of Your Vote. And what we found out is what is the change that we can make on the local level. Oftentimes we get really caught up about what's happening in DC, what they're doing in Richmond, but we feel the heartbeat of everything happening here in Norfolk. When there's a pothole in the road, you feel it. When your kids don't have access to things in school, you feel it. When you're in a community and you don't have access to food, you feel it. So it's one thing to complain, but what are you gonna do to actually be action-oriented? So I did that, and one of the lasting things is one of the persons who was on the panel, she challenged everyone who was tuning in and said, if you don't like what you're seeing, then you need to run for office. And one of the things that I took it and I answered the call, there was a vacancy that was left by a former delegate, well, she's now a delegate, and I decided to apply for the appointment. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have a background in politics. I'm a Black business owner here in this city. My business is in Huntersville. It's been in Norfolk for the last 30 years. My father started that Black business 30 years, and that's something I care about. I think it's important to care about my people, and I think it's important to have someone on council who cares about my people. And being pro-Black and unapologetically Black is nothing I'm gonna apologize for. Because there's things that we deserve in our community and there's leadership that we deserve. It's not enough just to be Black. You need to be Black and effective and accountable. So that's what led me to that position. And my ward, Super Ward 7, is Black. Everyone asks, well, what's Super Ward 7? I said, it's everywhere from Tidewater Gardens, Norview, Park Place, Southside, Campostella, Berkeley, Lamberts Point, Park Place, shall I go on? And people are saying, okay, you got all of us then. And I was like, exactly. But one of the ways that we get solution-oriented is we first have to find out what are people's needs and what are the priorities. A lot of the things I came across have been, for example, obviously public safety. We know we got gun violence happening in our communities. Another thing is healthcare access, food access, the status of our schools. Unfortunately, Norfolk has schools that are at the bottom tier in the Commonwealth, and the pandemic didn't help. But it's one thing to sit around and we can point out everything that's not happening right, but guess what? There's some people who are right in this room who have ideas. They have solutions. But there's never been someone like me on council where someone say, Danica, you're approachable. I see you. I feel like I can come and talk to you. I've had people slide in my DMs. I've had people hit me up on Facebook, say, hey, I need you for something. I need your support. And that's what we got to do. We first got to have a conversation. I always tell people, the people who you elected, yes, they work for you, but we work together, and we move forward together. I can't do this by myself, and I'm going to keep reiterating it. So I need y'all to pull up, and I need y'all to help me.
Thank you. So can you tell us what are some of the ways that the community can contribute and be solution-oriented to some of the issues that you brought up?
All right, I'm happy you asked. So I'm extremely hyped right now because how many of y'all know about the Berkeley Supermarket? Okay, not everyone, right? The Berkeley Supermarket is the only black-owned supermarket in Norfolk, possibly in the 757. It's actually owned by Mr. Mike Palmer. Does anyone know MP Island Cafe? He owns it. Guess what? He needs us. That area was a food desert. They had a food line there. They left. They went and talked to Harris Teeter, Walmart, Food Lion, Farm Fresh, Lidl, Aldi. They said, we don't want to go over there. But yet, those are the businesses that we'll continue to put dollars into. But we have a black man who has brought his family and decided, I care about my community and I believe my people deserve to eat. So if you're in a position, one of the things that we had a discussion at the grocery store about today is doing a cash mob. And the challenge that we're going to put out to the community is if you have access and you have availability for it's Black History Month, right? We pro-black, black business, Black Lives Matter, black people, businesses matter. Black people who want to do things for their communities matter too. So for the month of February, the challenge is go do your grocery shopping at a black-owned grocery store. If you need one, Berkeley Supermarket. Because that's one way that we're able to invest dollars and continue to generate them into our community. We're always having conversations about generational wealth, things that we want to do in our community. One of my favorite songs, Jay-Z, 444, Legacy, Legacy, that's the key. My parents didn't have it, so the shift started with me. We have the opportunity to be that change. We have the opportunity to be that shift. So the ways that we can get involved is by saying, hey, Councilwoman Royster, what do you need help with? Who in our community who needs this help that we have? Whether it's talents, whether it's my time, whether it's my treasure and my money, this is how I can make change. Because the things that are true is if we don't support that grocery store, it will close. And then we're going to be in a situation all over again where we have babies who don't have access to food, mothers who are having to catch a bus to go all the way across town, dragging groceries. By the way, there was a bus system that they were trying to pass last February that would have had our people waiting 15 minutes longer or having to walk 15 minutes, but I voted against it, and that happened and helped us in our favor. So another thing is finding out what's happening, because there's people who are making decisions, and people say, oh, it's happening behind our back. It's not. It's all on the web. It's all on the internet. But you have to come, you have to be willing to have a discussion, and you have to be willing to say, I'm tired of sitting around, and I'm ready to take some action. So that's a challenge that I can put out, and I'll also tell you, I put all this information on my social. I'll give it to everyone once we're done, but we need to be supporting our own, and the first challenge, the first thing you can do is make sure that we're supporting this black-owned business, this grocery store within our black community, so that way we can continue to see black wealth and black dollars generate in our city.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I just want to comment a little bit because she talked a lot about community involvement and how we should be going to this Berkeley Supermarket. It's very important. It's a high priority. But there are other ways to show up, right? There are ways you need to go to these city council meetings. Everybody was so upset when Origami got closed and when Culture got closed. But were you supporting this? Were you showing up? Did you know that this was even happening? Were you paying attention to what's going on within our community? So we have to be paying attention to those things. But I also think that it's important to fundraise, right? We have these families that have been killed, their loved ones have been killed by the police, like Donovan, like Xavier Hill, right? Like DeShayla Harris, and no one stands up and says their names, right? But you can go all over the world. You can say Breonna Taylor, you can say George Floyd, and I love that, right? I travel all over the world organizing from state to state. I've been from the East to the West Coast doing it. But we have people right here in our community that are hurting, and we don't say, how can we support that mother who lost their son? How can we support that sister who lost their brother? And so I think it's a bigger need is to support each other and to provide that mutual aid. So I think it's necessary. The Berkeley Supermarket, great, right? Showing up to city council meetings, great, right? Like, we need to be in those rooms and those spaces and educate ourselves, because at the end of the day, like she said, all the information is there. So don't say you don't know, but do your research.
Thank you. We have a new panelist that came on after the roll call, so I'm going to allow him to introduce himself and catch him up with the conversation.
Sure. Grace and peace, everyone. Sorry for my tardiness. My name is Don Carey. I'm blessed to serve as a city councilman in Chesapeake. Was elected in 2020, youngest council member ever elected, highest vote getter in the history of the city. So blessed to be a representative there. Prior to being on council, I was in the NFL, played 10 years. 8 years with the Detroit Lions, 2 years with the Jaguars. Outside of council, my wife and I run the Don Carey Reach Foundation, which uses sports as a catalyst to educate students about the STEM jobs that exist here in Hampton Roads. We work primarily in middle schools. Before Ruffner shut out all third-party organizations, we're in Ruffner Middle School, Oscar Smith Middle School, and we're in Bayside Middle School.
Cool, thank you. So the first question was actually directed to politicians and activists on the panel, which was what led you to your position, and how do you see yourself being solution-oriented to Black issues in the cities? And then also a follow-up to that was, how can the community get more involved in some of these policy issues?
Okay. Yeah, so
or more so solutions to the policy
briefly,
issues.
the thing that led me into politics was, if you look at the political spectrum, you see about 15% of people on the left that are hard left, 15% of people on the right that are hard right, and they only focus on stuff that pertains to them. But the vast majority of us exist in the middle, right? We're liberal on some views, conservative on some views, but we're trying to do what's right for ourselves, our families, our neighborhoods, and if you're only focusing on those fringe, nothing's ever going to get done. So instead of complaining about, the Democrats and the Republicans, I said, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. And I'm going to be that voice on council that's making sure I'm keeping a common man in mind when I make my votes, when I make my proposals, when I show up in the community. And again, I was blessed that the vast majority of individuals who voted agreed with me. The second question was, how do you get involved in the solutions and...
Well, the first question was specifically impacting Black communities. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. So, awesome. Here's something I think our community needs to learn. In the state of Virginia, or any council, nothing happens without the majority vote, right? So in Chesapeake, I call it the drive to 5. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to get done, if you don't get 5 people on council to agree with you, it ain't happening. So what we need to do is be more informed on who our council members are, and have their numbers, their email addresses, make sure they know your name, so that when something important comes up to you, you can reach out to whatever the majority number is. In Chesapeake is 5. I'm not sure what it is in Norfolk, but I think it may be 5 in Norfolk as well, right? So, yeah, make sure you have 5 individuals that you can reach out to and petition for whatever it is that matters to you. Secondly, council members are not experts. Okay, look, cats show up and they make themselves seem like they're something that, no, they're not. They don't know unless you tell them, right? And then if you tell them and they don't get involved or they don't do what's necessary to assist, well, then it's your job to make sure that the other voters know to get them out there in the voter box. You understand what I'm saying? So nothing more important than to drive to 5. Make sure that you are present in the conversation with your council members. Come to council meetings. Most of the time, people don't show up to council meetings unless you got something to complain about. Okay, I get it. I fully understand that. But if you're trying to be strategic and goal-oriented, it'll help you out to set these meetings up, show up. I give my personal phone number out to every person in the city. I want to be there. I ran so that I can help out and come up with solutions for our community. I tell, look, I love all people, but my wife and I, we try the Black ones first. You understand? So I want to make sure that we're thriving, but being involved in the civic process in a proper way is something that we need to do a much better job. Because look, I get it. We protest. Protest is part of democracy. I support it. But when it's time to stop protesting, you got to get involved in the civic process to make sure things happen. So these moments, become movements.
Can I touch on?
Yes, please. I want to give the other panelists an opportunity to kind of follow up with some of the things that have been discussed.
Yeah.
And also, please keep your responses to about under 2 minutes so that we can get to everyone.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So real quick, just for me, it's progression, right? So I started doing music is it feedback? Feedback. Okay. So as I started going on tour and just going to other markets, I kind of seen how other people lived, and that really inferred on kind of how I wanted to move. If anything, it made me kind of feel guilty for the successes I was having personally, career-wise, and wanting to do more in the community back home. And so I kind of made a vow that from now on I would still do my entertainment stuff and, progress, but I always wanted to have some part of me that did community stuff. So for the last couple of years, I've been really intentional in doing a voter registration program, like leading that, which Gabe and a lot of people on the panel know about and have helped me with. I then led a vaccination outreach program, and then I just did another round of vaccination outreach as well as voter registration programming. I think the main point that I'm making is not only is it important for us to succeed in our personal goals and careers and all that kind of stuff, but it's so important that all of us have a part of us that do something in a community-driven way. And it doesn't have to be boring, and it doesn't have to be disconnected from our peers. I think we've seen that the way things are going is very dry, or can be dry, but I think people like Danica and Don are doing it in a very different way that can connect with us directly. And I think as long as we strive to kind of do things in a different way and build in those kind of ways, it can be more beneficial. On top of, we do have to start going to those community city council meetings and all of that kind of stuff. The rooms that I'm in, they're always surprised that somebody who's my age and I'm 38, they always say bad, like you're one of the youngest people in the room. And to me, that's always shocking because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But when you look in the room, they're like 40 and up. So they need us, but they don't know how to connect with us. So it has to be them reaching out to us, but us wanting to find our ways into these rooms where they're having these meetings and all that kind of stuff too. So,
Just real quick, and I wanted to piggyback off of what was stated before me. Another way of getting involved is boards and commissions. So right now, I know we have several positions opening, and I posted about it, and we are desperate for new talent. There's the Arts Commission, there's different things happening in education, environmental, and the only thing I ask, and I guess I can speak for Don too, is connect with us, reach out to us, let us know, hey, I'm not for sitting in all these meetings, but I'm into art. And if we talking art, that's where I got you. I just found out there's like a $10,000 stipend that they're looking for me to find someone to do an art project within my ward. And they're like, hey, we're specifically, their language, we're looking for an urban, low income, you know how they talk. And I'm like, okay, you need someone black from my ward. I see why you hitting me up. But this is still an opportunity for me to be able to put someone on in my ward where they might have not gotten a shot to do a city project and be compensated for it and recognized. So that's also a plug. So if you know anyone, make sure you come and talk to me. But going back, boards and commissions, this is another way that you find out what's happening, because once again, things are not happening to us, they're happening and we're not being a part of the conversation. So commissions, boards, and also get involved in your civic league with where you live. You can't care about the city if you don't even care about your own block and what's happening there.
Thank you. Did you? No, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay. So the panelists bring up a lot of good points so far, touching on civic engagement and being a citizen of your cities, right? But I do also want to highlight that we as Black people, we have many different avenues that we make change in. And I do agree civic engagement is necessary. But this panelist is full of many different talents and gifts. So I want to give everyone the opportunity to talk about how they inspire and lift our community. So let's get into the 757 entertainment scene. Many of our panelists are curators and event planners. Can some of y'all describe your experiences here curating events for Black people in the cities? And do you feel like we get the same access as other people, the same resources and assets as other people that are trying to get some things going in the city?
So me first? All right, so I actually worked on this question. So I feel like a lot of times we feel like, oh, we're not allowed there, or we're not, and sometimes it does feel that way, but I feel like we create our own borders sometimes. We say we're not allowed there before we even knock on the door. Like we say, oh, we can't do an event there because There's no because. We just say that because the people that are already in that room. I've opened up many doors with my friends that all look just like us. We're on Granby Street in downtown Norfolk with 4 businesses, brick and mortars, downtown, black owned, Hispanic owned. And I just feel like now, is there certain places like you can go and they're like, nah, but there's a lot of places that we set a border that's not even there. We're like, yo, we can't do an event there. And it's like, why can't you do an event there? Oh, because they don't want us there. How do you know that? I don't know, because I'm assuming. Because Gabe told me that he tried to do an event there years ago and they didn't let him in the building. Maybe they was booked. Maybe this, but these guys, I know as far as the curators are on this panel, they've done many, many venues that a lot of people say they couldn't do. You know, I own a restaurant on Granby Street that does nightlife that they said I couldn't do. I own a vintage store on Granby Street that they said I couldn't do. I have a majority black barbershop on downtown Norfolk, 400 block of Granby Street, they said I couldn't do. Who said they couldn't do? They did. Not nobody, not the rules, not when I fill out those papers, not them. They just said it because they couldn't do it, because they didn't believe they couldn't do it. So what happens is we set that border because our friend such and such said that they're never gonna allow it. I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? Gabe does. I mean, I've been around Gabe, I've been around Rodney, I've been around the Traptastic guys for years. Work Release, if you remember Work Release. That was downtown Norfolk. That was an art museum that these guys did events at. I got booked once there, but you know. Gabe told me how to cut the set off early. You know, that should go right there. They gave me like the 30-minute set, told me to carry my ass. Oh, excuse me. It was 45 minutes. I'm sorry, Karen. But like I said, like they said he couldn't do that. And there was a line wrapped around that building when Traptastic went there. When Drum first dropped his first hit song on Granby Street, we were on Granby Street at FM Backstage. Nobody, nothing. So it's like, everybody says you can't do something. No, you said that. Or your friend that doesn't believe said that. Get around some people that believe in you. And that's the issue. Everybody's talking about, oh, we can't do something. Hey, I've done events at every venue in Norfolk, except for Peabody's. I haven't done none at Peabody's. Huh? I've done everything at the beach too, but I haven't done Peabody's. Yeah, I haven't done Peabody's. My jeans were too baggy when I tried to go in there. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Nato was saying, it was like, it was a time when a lot of us probably felt like it was places we couldn't go, or, you know, it was walls up to us to do things, but you just gotta ask. A lot of the stuff that we was able to achieve on Granby Street or in the beach or, you know, anywhere in the state, anywhere that we've been was just from, you know, networking, reaching out and asking. If you never, it's like a closed mouth don't get fed, like people say all the time, but everything that we did went against like the normal stuff, so we end up being in arcades and stuff like that, or venues, like he said, museums and stuff like that, that people think you can't do anything like that in, or throw a party in, or black people not allowed. We come and do these things safely and, you know what I'm saying, in a way that, you know, it is allowed, and we show everybody that it can be done, and then go from there, because it's just, you know, thinking out the box, just being unique and different with it. But some people just don't want to open up that part of themselves and try to do different things. So a lot of people feel like they're running into walls, but it's just mental, and they just don't even try.
And I'll add something to it. Last October, I had an event called City Fest. City Fest was in Hampton, Virginia. It highlighted local entrepreneurs and black businesses, and you know, we had 2,000-3,000 people come out to it. And the number one question I got after the festival was like, yo, how did you get this park? We did it at Mill Point Park in downtown Hampton. And everybody was just like, how did you get the park? How did you get the park? And literally, I went downtown Hampton and applied and put the paperwork in and showed up to the meetings. And that's how I got it. But like they said, it's a lot of barriers that we think that we put on ourselves that's really not there. And you just got to open your mouth and, you know, just go do it. Try it. Don't be scared to hear no. And if they say no, ask why. So.
That's exactly.
Oh yeah, I just want to say this though, because y'all are talking about a lot of barriers, and I think like we always put that in our minds, so like, oh, you can't go this place because it's predominantly white, or you know, when I heard that the Traptastic was at Chicho's, I was kind of surprised, right? Like, I was caught off guard by that venue. But every time I go, I have a blast, right? And it's a great event. So I was so caught off guard by that. But a lot of times we feel like we're not welcome because we're not used to those spaces, right? But we have to get really comfortable with stepping out of our comfort zone and doing things. And just like he was able to get that park in Hampton, like you have a city council member, right, who's completely different cities, who I'm sure if you say, hey, how do I do this? They'd be more than willing to say, hey, this is how you get a permit. This is what you need to do to apply for these venues. So you have to reach out to those connections because it literally is all connected. Go ahead, Gabe. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you make great points. Like you know what everybody's saying. Like of course it keeps saying the barriers, and I think the most important thing is just you just got to show up and kick the door in, man. Like it's real. Like if you make sense, it's like the art of the deal almost. If you make sense, it's just like, why are you turning this great opportunity down? Because at the end of the day, everybody's worried about their money until maybe it's getting a little too black in there, you know what I'm saying? As long as ain't no problems, you know? Because I've been in
What
a
do you
lot
mean
of,
by that?
What do they mean by that? That's what I'm saying. Like, they just be like, I be DJing like all over the place. I'm talking about, I DJ places where I am the only black person in the whole joint. You know what I'm saying? And I also DJ where it is all black at a white establishment. And a lot of things, I've been places where, you know, they don't want the urban crowd in there, but everything they want to play is urban music. And they want all this, they want everything soulful but black. Like everything. Yeah. And I'm just like, you know, I'll be in those situations and, you know, the thing that can change it is just, you know, y'all was squad up here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'd be like, you know, let's black this thing out.
How do you all as curators navigate that? Like you said, like sometimes there's spaces where our blackness is accepted, but black people
like you said,
themselves.
with the Peabody's thing, it's kind of like, you know.
Because it kind of sounds like as a panel, from what I'm hearing, you all are saying that you all have not experienced being othered in these spaces, but blackness is something that we do get some type of otherness no matter where we are is what's happening. It's our really lived experience. So for the audience who is also experiencing that in these cities, and I'm from here too, can y'all share a little bit of that? Like what do y'all do to navigate when you feel like your blackness isn't accepted?
I'm gonna answer. It's kind of an answer, kind of not. I promise Paul I wouldn't say all this, but basically what I be telling my guys, especially my friends, my group of people, like a lot of the stuff that shuts down these venues, a lot of the stuff that the reason they don't want us there, we create that. Our egos create that. What I mean by that is Rodney walks in the building, I don't know him, he bumps me. My ego says, yo, we gotta fight. My ego says that. And Rodney said he's gonna win, but we can test the waters. But that's what I'm saying. Our egos say that, and like I said, you don't have to agree. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to agree to me. But what I'm saying is, I'm in these venues every night, and our egos. When I tell a guy, "Hey, put that cigarette out inside of my venue," and I walk out, and he puts it back up, and then the ABC agent walks in and fines me for that, and then once those fines stack up, that's when my venue is closed. That's why I no longer can open my doors and feed my kid. So you don't have to agree with me because you know what I'm saying, but me as every single day inside these venues, I see some of our ignorance and it's like, oh, this venue is closing because the city, the rules are there. The rules are there. The rules, we see the rules from the jump. When I opened my venue, I had to fill up all that paperwork, 6 months of filling out paperwork to get my venue open. And I read every single rule. It's the paperwork. The rules are there. Now, is there things that we can't prevent? Yes. But sometimes it's us messing up the venues. Even myself, I've got in fights in venues and done stuff in venues that, you know, I'm happy I grew from, but sometimes it is us. And like I said, we can't prevent every fight, we can't prevent every argument, but such and such doesn't like such and such. She walks in the building and they start fighting, and then it goes outside and such has this and this in this car, and everybody's a tough guy. Everybody's a tough guy. And so it's like a lot of the stuff happens with us first. Us, like as I said, like a little bit of Hennessy and a lot of bit of ego, I'm outside fighting. And that's the problem we have. We don't want to just say, my bad, I apologize, because our ego doesn't let us do that. And that's how we can prevent all these great establishments that we love going to. That's why they're closed.
Batman,
Because-
did you have something?
Can I-
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, she.
No, I just want to say, like, I agree to that to a certain extent, but I've been to tons of white venues, and they do the same thing.
They
but
go
the result
crazy.
is different. And I'm telling you, they go crazy. Gabe goes to these venues. I'm sure you know. He just kind of spoke about that. And white people get away with a lot more stuff. I'm going to be honest, and that's my opinion. Some people may not agree, but I do agree with that. I feel like there are extra stipulations often put. But I do agree that sometimes we get in our own ways as well, right? But that's white and black people. But I think that black people are held to a higher standard. That's just all people in general, right? But I will say also, like, for me, if there's a venue and I can clearly see that you just don't want black people there, then I'll take my money elsewhere, right? Like, I don't have to be there. Like, my money's good in any hood, right? Like, I don't have to stay there. We can move on and move around. So I feel like there are doors that you do kick down, right? And there are relationships that have come that these great curators have. Oh my gosh, like I've been to some amazing events by everyone here, right?
Yeah, Naya Nell too.
Come on, Naya's always putting on a dope event, right? That's guaranteed. But we often have to recognize, like, if there's a room that we just are not welcome in, like, that's okay too, right? Like, there's some rooms that other races that we have that other races aren't welcome in as well. Like, there's some conversations that you don't get to be in too. So I think that's just like double-ended.
Thank you. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, real quick. So a lot of this is time, right? So I'm probably, maybe I'm the oldest person on the panel, I don't know, but I've been out here since like 2005, 2004, something like that. So I remember back then for us specifically, it was a lot rougher as far as the amount of venues or places we felt like we could go, the amount of places or venues that were actually open to and for us. So I think some of that is time. I think some of that is DJs and promoters like Gabe and NATO and a lot of other people that push down the door, right? And were brave with putting together their events because they're the ones that had to have the conversation with some of these owners and managers and stuff like that. So them being brave enough to have these ideas and push that forward is some of the things that would allow people that will come behind them to feel more comfortable having the conversations because now there's a track record of if Gabe does an event here and it's successful and money is brought in and all that kind of stuff, okay, then we should allow the next person to do so. But I think we also have to keep in mind it being a mutually beneficial situation, meaning that they feel like they're taking a risk sometimes. So we have to come to them with an idea that's creative enough for them to feel like not only is it going to be dope, but they are, I guess, to some extent ensured that there is going to be some money or some prestige that comes with us being in their building too. So I think these are some of the things that we have to factor in. Now, what I will knock the city for or the cities for is I think they allow some of these clubs and venues open, but not in good faith. Like, we don't get the same shake when we want to do something that they do. Like, from jump, when a white establishment opens up, in good faith, this is amazing, can't wait for the business to come, this, and the third. I think for us, it's like, okay, we're going to give you this chance. Let's see what you do about it. I think that's the tone and the energy, and that, I think, has to change. But that's my take on everything.
Appreciate it. So I'm going to direct this to the cities, right? How can we, well, you all as curators, unify the cities to come together more? Because I know we do, a lot of you all talked about Norfolk being like a real like place where a lot of y'all do work. What about like studies across the bridge? How do you all reach out to kind of bring events to different places?
Last night, I had did this thing at Cannes. It's the Contemporary Arts Network on Newport News, and you know, I was there last night, and the place is beautiful. A lot of people, like, you know, they make that trip out there, but not a lot, because it's just it's a foreign land, and also, you know, the police be out here tripping. People don't want to drive nowhere and drink. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you shouldn't drink and drive, but also it's just like, just that thought of like, you know, I'm going to jail if I do that. So then, you know, I was there last night, and I'm looking, I'm just like, damn, if they had this set up on our side, which is, you know, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, I was like, this place would be, you know, packed to the busting at the seams. And then, you know, also thought like, you know, that's also what makes this place dope is that it is like a gym in the cut. You know what I mean? Like, it really goes into where people need to just go out and explore more. And it's up to, you know, not just the promoters, it's up to, you know, y'all linking up and carpooling and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just little things like that that could really connect the city in a lot of ways. And, you know, they say if you build it, the people will come. Like, you built something great. So it really, when I was there, I was just like, it really ain't no excuse why this shouldn't be popping. So I think it's just a culture that we should build up as far as like, just hopping into a carpool and going to another city. And also like people, I don't know, people just scary, man. I don't know.
Anyone else have a response to that question about unifying the cities?
I think one of the things like that could help would be like reaching out to a lot of these people who do events on that side of the water, right? Like finding a way to connect with those planners and say, hey, like, can we just do something that's a community-led or oriented thing, right? And bridge that gap. Just like when he did the event out in Hampton, right? Like, how can I work with Rod, who is over here focusing on Norfolk, and NATO, who are focusing in Norfolk, in order to make this happen in Norfolk, right? This same type of event. Or how can we do something where we start an event in one city, but take it to the next city, and the next city, and the next city. And so finding some type of way to really just, if we can't bring the people to us, then take the community to the people, right? Like, so I think we just have to kind of figure out how to build community in other areas.
I think that people just have to, like us from our side and from their side, we have to like extend our networks more into each other's space. And just like me meeting him today, I might help him with his next thing. I might do my thing over there and he help me, he do his thing over here. We just got to start building those bridges with each other, but we just keep those walls up again and we just stay where we at. I don't really be over there, so I can't even act like I'm the one that, I mean, I'm gonna try, I could try to start, but yeah, a lot of us don't go to that side. A lot of them will come over here, but it doesn't stay. Everybody just goes back to where they came from, so we just gotta try.
Yeah, real quick. I definitely want to tap on that. I'm from Hampton, Virginia, right? And so it always felt like for a long time, a lot of the cool stuff was on this side of the water, right? Norfolk, Virginia Beach. It always felt like that. We had, at least when I was coming up, the Alley and like Infinities, which don't even exist no more, but that's a whole nother whatever. So for me to feel like I was having fun or whatever, I had to come to the beach or I had to come to Norfolk. But crossing that bridge, getting over that mental barrier, whatever anybody felt like that was, opened up everything. I think part of this has to do with you doing events or doing things with the people just in your city. As soon as you start circulating in different networks, everything opens up, right? I've done events in pretty much every major city and called DJs or promoters or whoever else from other cities to kind of collaborate on that kind of stuff, and it's continued to evolve because of that. But again, I think so much of this is, will people travel from Hampton to Norfolk, or will people travel from Norfolk, Virginia Beach to Portsmouth, or will people from Portsmouth go to Newport News? The more that we start getting people who are patrons to do that and promoters to, do that kind of stuff, and then again, having interesting ideas that people would make people want to move, I think the better all of this moves and the faster it moves, really. So
I'll add to that. How many people been to Newport News before? Okay, way more hands than I expected. That's beautiful. But the way the 7 cities is set up, like from Virginia Beach to Norfolk to Hampton, Virginia, it kind of gets like less things to do as you go to the next city. So me being from Newport News, I rarely meet people that from the beach that come to Newport News, but I'm always coming to Virginia Beach. So I really noticed that over the years, and I had to practice, being, being uncomfortable and getting out of my city to meet other people because, like, for instance, I went to EDL Fest and I had a long day. Didn't even really want to go, but my store manager was DJing and I support him, so I said, I'm going to pull up. It's a black event. I'm going to go. And instantly when I went, I said, oh, this is dope. And fast forward, that's why I'm sitting here on this panel. And even coming here, I'd never been to here before. And I walk in and instantly it's people like, yo, that's City on my chest. And I'm walking in like, I ain't gonna know nobody in here. They don't know the brand. Like, I'm gonna shake some hands because that's what I do. But, I'm glad I came today. And you just really gotta get over that mental barrier of like, let me get outside of my city, meet some people, shake some hands and just communicate. Because, we're people, we communicate. That's how you network. That's how, relationships. I seen him on the gram 1 million times. And then I walk in and it's instant love. And I mean, that's what it's about. So just, get comfortable being uncomfortable and get outside your comfort zone.
Dope. Thanks, y'all. And my question for you next is, what advice do you wish you received from older generations that you would now offer younger generations that are following in your footsteps, whether it's activism, business owners, curating, planning? What advice is it that you wish that you had received?
Who got him? Beat him. I wish that, I just wish people talked more back in the day. It was like a lot of like stone-faced people, right? That wouldn't tell you nothing because everybody was like scared of that you would maybe overtake them or whatever. So they rather just hold you down. It was like real crabs in a bucket back in the day. And now I make it a point, and I know like NATO makes it a point, a lot of people probably make it a point to, you know, always extend the knowledge, just like why I'm here today, or like why I talk to whoever DMs me about like, you know, manufacturing, how to do an event, how to sell tickets, how to do anything. Because it's like, I don't really, you know, me helping somebody isn't gonna stop what I'm doing. And, you know, doing favors only builds up goodwill so that I can turn around, you know, when you blow up off the information I gave you and get you to help me do something. It's just, we should do it like that. We should create the circle rather than try to stop it where it's at and be the only one to shine. You should never try to, you know, just own it all. Nobody needs a monopoly. We just need to be doing it together, everybody.
I'm sure. Go ahead, ladies first.
Thank you. One of the things that I wish the older generation would do more is to share their shortcomings. A lot of times, and I'm going to speak from personal experience with family and even people I've met in business, they had the tendency, I should say, to show the result. But you didn't show me the struggle of what you had to do to get all the way there. And so for young people, we see the finish line, and then we come sometimes, you know, and I'm gonna be real, mental health is real. You get this pressure to perform for perfection. And I feel like older generations, that's something that they really heavily pushed on us. Like, this is what you see, the end result. But you didn't tell me about all these other things that you had to maneuver. And for us, I sometimes think that that's a challenge because we didn't necessarily get all of the gems about how you fell short here, how you made this mistake of taking out that loan, how you made this mistake on competing versus collaborating with so-and-so. And I think that our generation has the opportunity, we're way more transparent, whether it be we put everything on Instagram or TikTok, but we also are very transparent because we are just tired of living a lie and saying, no, I'm struggling. That's why, you know, I've been up here saying the whole time, I need your help. Because I'm not gonna try to project like, okay, I'm in office, I'm perfect, I got it going on. No, I need assistance. And I think that that's something that I wish that the older generation would have shared with us more. Because that way we would be in a position where a lot of us who are, you know, the first or trying to be the first, we would have someone who I can rap with and talk to about, hey, I hit this roadblock. Can you give me some assistance? Versus sometimes feeling like I can't go and talk to him. He got it all together. He probably don't know anything about what I'm dealing with trying to get this money, or she has all this, so she's not gonna be willing to sow into me. But I feel like that's changing, but almost the transfer of the gems is what I'm requesting all the time. And I think it's up to us, especially us on this panel. I think all of us have been very transparent about our journey because we do more when we feel like we can connect. I ultimately feel like I can never connect to someone who will always project that they have perfection because I'm like, you can't help me. But as soon as I know that, no, Danica, I know what you're going through as it relates to, you know, dealing with some stuff with your family. Or no, I know what you're going through with your business having a bad month. Or how your business also possibly suffered during COVID versus, oh no, we got the PPP money, we all good. No, not everybody had that story. But that's how we grow as a community and that's how we grow as a people. So that's something that I felt has happened, but we have the opportunity to change it.
I love it. Thank you. Anyone else have any gems they want to drop?
I just have like 4 quick points because I just wrote them. I'm gonna just write them down. I wrote them down. For anyone doing activism or organizing, I think it's important to know that freedom is a constant struggle. The fight is never ending, so don't expect things to change overnight, right? It's gonna take work, it's gonna take time, and I wish people would have told me that, like, right? I wish older generations would have really, I know Angela Davis said it, but like people that I know that were like, yo, this is gonna be hard. This journey to freedom is not easy. Black liberation is not gonna come overnight, and no matter how much you protest in the street, you have to move protests to policy, right? I think number 2 is normalize therapy, right? Like, it's okay not to be okay. Mental health is a big issue within our communities, and I feel like previous generations may not have pushed the importance of therapy on us, and I think that's important. Believe in yourself because you are more than enough. And I think a lot of times we have self-doubt, which keeps us from moving forward. And then also, don't allow people to dictate who you can be or who you will be. It stuck out to me how they were talking about, like, oh, you can't have this black-owned business on the street, but he has four businesses. That's dope. And that just tells you, like, it's not where you start, but it's how you finish that matters. So that's what I have for y'all.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, real quick. So researching your craft. I believe in researching the people that came before you and learning from their mistakes. I wish somebody would have told me that because I kind of had to figure that out on my own. But traveling early. And I don't mean traveling for vacation because it looks good. I mean traveling with intent and purpose for whatever your dream is. I think there's this thing in our heads that because we're from Virginia and the infrastructure may be lacking, that we have to move away to be successful. The more that I traveled for work, in my passion or whatever it was, and became successful through the traveling, the more I understood that I don't need to leave Virginia to be successful, right? I just need to be more creative and more innovative in my approach to the things that I do. And because I traveled so much, I never felt like I needed to escape. I felt like I had a pretty good, or I still have a really good quality of life being here, and I think I appreciate and enjoy Virginia and the culture here more and want to fight for it to be better because I travel in my purpose and able to make money off of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a thing. We don't have to leave or escape Virginia. We're not escaping from prison. There are some things that need to be improved here, but because we are so talented innately, you don't have to leave. We just have to continue to figure out ways of how to break down these doors and barriers and how to make this where we feel comfortable, living and being great in. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll add briefly. I wish the previous generation would have did a better job of teaching us how to be productive in a capitalistic society, right? How do we navigate, right, life here? And the thing I had to learn in my life was there has to be a mindset shift to be a producer and not just a consumer, right? We all have to consume. You need food to eat, place to live, clothes to wear, car to drive. If you're not consuming, you're dying, right? So we have to consume. But where many of us miss the mark, we don't find a way to produce something. We don't find a way to monetize our skills. We don't find a way to open up a business. And for the few of us that do, not enough of us do a good job of being experts in that thing that we're producing, right? So along with doing your research, make sure that you're the expert in the area when it comes to a particular thing, right? And make sure that you're producing something and marketing that something, and then make sure you're reaching out to show someone else that they can do it as well. A lot of the work we do with the Reach Foundation is dispelling notions that you have to leave the 757 to be successful. I tell you from personal experience, I've traveled all around the world. Hampton Roads is unique.
Nothing like it.
Hampton Roads is unique. You can pretty much get everything you need right here, right? But it's up to us to show that forth. Like, I see the potential being here. That's why I came back. Right, most cats when they go up to the NFL, they don't like coming back here. But I love the 7-5. I'm from Norfolk, went to Booker T, Norfolk State. This is home to me, right? Oh yeah, behold, right. So yeah, I won't belabor the point, but find a way to be a producer of something, right? Whatever your passion is, and then spend your resources, your time, and becoming an expert in that thing, and then pass on your knowledge to somebody else.
Thank you so much. Did anyone else have?
Yeah, I got one for this one too. I've been waiting. We have it written down and everything. No, but I think my biggest thing that I'll give any person that's trying to do anything is hold on. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Hold on and wait your turn. Because like I said, like everybody wants, like somebody will pick up a pair of turntables today and be tomorrow, like I want 10 gigs. Like, and that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. And then it was your turn, it's your turn. But a lot of people want it right now. And like I said, I believe in, the Bible and all that stuff, so I ain't gonna get into that. But the book of Joseph tell you when it's your turn, it's your turn. But I'm not getting into that. But like I said, it's just wait your turn. When I first started DJing, I was bar backing and taking pictures with DJ Raw Bass. Some people in this room remember that. I was taking pictures. Nato, you a photographer? No, I'm a DJ, but I gotta do what I gotta do to take pictures at this venue. And I needed money because I had my son. So I was bar backing while taking pictures while setting up the DJ's equipment. When I was asking these venues, yo, let me DJ, like, no, all right, cool. And I come tomorrow and ask again. And they told me, no, I suck. You only want to play Meek Mills. I'm like, that's what I'm going to play. I was from Philly. I just moved from Philly, y'all. You know, Dreams and Chases was at the top right at that moment. So the Edge did not want that at the time. But like I said, they did not want that. But like I said, just wait your turn. Like I said, when my turn came, hey, look, I got on. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody told me no. Then I went over to a little club called Ride Lounge. It's no longer there, and my man Intellect right here can tell you, me and him sat at the bar, me, him, having shots, because there was not one person in that venue. A year later, we couldn't keep people outside that venue. Like, it was lines and lines outside that venue. And like I said, it's after that, I said I was gonna cut hair, and I asked so many people, yo, let me cut your hair. What? Bro, shut up. Go DJ. I'm like, but like I said, I waited my turn. My first opportunity in a barbershop, I own that barbershop on Grammy Street now, and I only worked there for 2 months. But like I said, and it wasn't because I said I'm gonna own a barbershop on Grammy Street. I never said that. I said I'm gonna wait my turn. And when it was my turn, I got it. Not everybody's story gonna be like that, but you wait your turn, man. Like I said, if you patient, like I said, sometimes you're like, yo, I've been 10 years at this, and what's going on? Like I started all this at 29. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I opened up over 20 businesses in 3 years. So like I said, wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? It was 8 years, 9 years of sleeping on his mother's couch. Like, we wasn't even together. That's my son. I was sleeping on his mother's couch. And like I could tell you, certain people in here could tell you that. Like, I waited my turn. Everybody wanted right now. Oh, I opened up a shirt. Why is it not selling out? Nobody know who the hell you are. Go tell somebody about your shirt. It's like, oh, but Traptastic sells out. Yeah, Traptastic been at it for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? How long y'all been out? Been like 10, right? Been a 10-piece? Traptastic been a 10-piece, right? At least? It's only been 5 years? 7. Y'all, which one is it, man? Which one is it? But anyway, like I'm saying, they waited their turn.
Yeah.
That was my point. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of artists, a lot of people that anything you do, just wait your turn and do and whatever it is you at, do the best job. If you're the janitor at the barbershop, hey, yo, make sure them floors look amazing. And that's it. That's really it.
I love it. Thank you so much.
My final remarks would be entrepreneurship is at an all-time high. It's very popular. And it's okay if you're not an entrepreneur. You know, right now, if you don't have your own business, you know, some people even try to look down on you. And it's okay to, you know, not be the number one, but go be the number 2 or the number 3, the number 4 at a different company. Join the team. You know, find what you do well and use those traits to make that team even stronger. You ain't got to be the man. You ain't got to be the woman. You can get in where you fit in. And then to piggyback on patience, they say it takes 10 years to build a brand. Some happens a little sooner, some it don't, but sitting on my chest is I do it full time. I have a store in Patrick Henry Mall. My t-shirt journey started my senior year in college at ODU in my dorm, designing on custom ink, and my girl at the time walked in and said, that shirt is whack. Shut the computer, broke my heart, right? I shut it. She said it was whack. I shut my joint. So long story short, though, it do take time. You know, it do take time, and don't feel the pressure to feel like if you're not an entrepreneur, if you don't have a business, you're not successful. Because with me being the number 1, I need a number 2, I need a number 3. And as the brand grows, I want you to grow with it. You know, I want to make a lot of money. I want you to make a lot of money. So just find out, get in where you fit in.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much. This next question, and try to keep it under 1 minute because I do want to give the audience opportunity to ask y'all questions as well. So this next question is about the 757. We all know how special it is to be here. There's no place like it, and I've been a lot of places, and I still always come back home. The artistry, the talents, the gifts that come out of the 757, how do you all say we can lift us more and celebrate these talents that come out of here? And I know you all are doing a lot of work to do that. How can we encourage everyone else to just be proud of where they come from?
I think a natural thing in that is, like you say, you travel a lot. And when you start traveling, you realize there's a real special thing that we got here. Because it's just like, you go other places and you're like, even the radio, you know what I'm saying? Like, even our radio stations.
95.7?
You just be like, damn, we got some good radio. Because you go other places and the radio is whack. And it's like, something like that. You're like, damn, like we got everything here. So then when you start traveling and you go out, and then, you know, it's almost like you wouldn't wear that fitted cap, like, say, Virginia in cursive here. But, you know, you might wear that out of town. Or you might wear a shirt that say Virginia Beach out of town. Yeah, I'll never sit next to this guy at a panel again, by the way. But, you know, when you out of town, you wearing that Virginia Beach, and you somebody else see it and they represent, you feel proud, like, all right. But then when you hear, you like, I ain't wearing that oceanfront shirt, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I think when you're here so long and, you know, you don't really, you know, when you say you don't realize when you got to it's gone, it's like right under your nose, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know, people, you know, it's easier said than done, but you should strive to travel a lot, man. And you really, like, respect what's going on here.
I'd say one of the things.
This is not loud.
Is it okay? I'm having right that. I'd say one thing is, and I think you're saying this: have pride in where you live and where you're from. Like, I rep Virginia hard. My family is from Southeast DC, but when I come up there, I'm always like, no, it's about Virginia. No, I know how y'all try to be funny with the DMV, but no, it's about the 757. We have the talent, we have the music, we have the sports. Your fave is from my city. And I think that's one of the things that we have to be excited about. There was this era and a period of time where people were like, oh, I can't wait to leave. No, I'm saying that, you know, on this day forward, it's the great return. I can't wait for everyone to start coming back here. But we have to make it hype, and we have to be excited about where we have and what we got. And one of the things that we do that is we collaborate. We just talked about, like, you know, going over to Hampton, Newport News, Suffolk, etc. We have to get excited, and we have to also support one another. That's one of the biggest things. People will, you know, we'll go out of town. Someone might have on something. One of my homeboys, Boss Bags. He has this shirt. Nah, I'm from Virginia, you. And a lot of people were like, well, what's that about? And I was like, oh, no, it's one of my friends. He's back home. I support his brand, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, what's be happening in Virginia? Sharing. And also, a way that we build our own brand is like the ideas and stuff that these men and women have brought up here today. We share and we come up and we support. Whether if you have an event in Hampton, hit me up. I'm coming through, and I'm bringing my people with me. If you have an event in Virginia Beach, pull up. We all gonna come. But that's how we make movement. Charlotte didn't become Charlotte overnight, and I don't care about what people say. You have to have a team in your city for your city to put on the map. That's bogus, and that's not facts. One of the things I know is we have talent, and there's things that everyone has to contribute to it, that we have definitely everything we need to be the city, the state that we want everyone to be able to come to and have pride in, and that we become a destination so that people are like, I can't wait to leave Cincinnati. I'm going to Norfolk or I'm going to Virginia Beach. So that's all I have to say.
Love it. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have a response to that? Okay. Oh, okay. He said you said it all.
Hold on. So, literally tapping into what she said, I've been saying this for a few years now. We don't have a sports team, so I've always felt like the artists represent us. What, back up from like this? Thank you, guys. I have good friends. I appreciate that. But yeah, we because we don't have a sports team, the burden, I think, is on the artists. And I don't want to say that in a negative way, but I've always felt like the artists represent us. The artists, you artists are our sports team. You represent us in and out of state. So that's the responsibility that I think that you guys hold. So what I'll say to that is when you guys pop, we need you guys to loudly and proudly say that y'all are from Virginia. Don't keep it a secret. Like, don't start repping the record label more than you repping where you from. We need you to loudly and proudly say, yeah, I'm signed to RCA, wherever you from, whatever it is, but I'm from Virginia. Now, for all of us who aren't artists, as soon as we see an independent artist that is moving, that we feel like, because everybody ain't for everybody, but if you see an artist that you believe in, do what you can for them. I don't believe in support. I actually believe support is for charities, but I do feel like if somebody does their due diligence and they build up their brand, whether you're an artist or whatever it is, that you help them how you can by attending their shows. But I don't like the word support, just personally. You know what I'm saying? I believe if you build it like somebody else said, they'll come. But you got to build it strong, and you got to build it in a way that would make me want to spend my money with you, whether you're a business or a label. So,
I just got something real quick. I'm not from here. I'm from North Philadelphia, Hunting Park. But I came here 9 years ago, and this is probably the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. I'm just giving you the 757A credit. That's all I had. I actually said under a minute. 10 seconds.
Okay. Thank y'all so much. Let's give the panelists a hand. So now I'm gonna open this up for the audience. We have time for maybe 2 questions to direct to the panelists. Okay. Anybody can come up here, I don't know. No, one at a time, but whoever come up here first. You don't have to stand right. You can just stand wherever.
I don't need the mic.
Oh, okay.
All right, so the question that I have is, what is it going to take for all of us to actually group up and get things done? Because I can look at a lot of people in this room, and I can see 10 people in here, that if we all combine and work on one single thing, we can raise and generate and impact the city by at least $100 million. That's with 10 people who I can look at in this crowd and know the impact that they bring. So what's it going to take for us all to actually sit down? When are we actually going to get that done and work towards one combined goal?
Did y'all hear him? No.
All right, so the question was.
Let him answer the question again. He's going to answer on the mic. They couldn't hear him.
Yeah, the question was, what is it going to take for all of us to come together and have a larger impact? He specified that there are 10 people that he know of that if we would get together that we could increase the revenue by at least 100 million, right? And that's a very important question because I can tell you there are other cultures, other individuals in Hampton Roads who no longer look at Hampton Roads as just 7 cities. They look at Hampton Roads as if Hampton Roads is the city, right? And they put their resources together and they're getting things done. You wonder why we got all this work going on 64? That ain't government. That's private organizations doing that. Individuals saying, you know what, we're not gonna wait for the government, for Richmond to say we're gonna expand our highways, we're gonna get together and pull our resources and get it done. We didn't do that. I would love to take credit for that from government, but that ain't us, right? You have another organization, Hampton Roads Planning District Commission. They're the main catalyst to bringing companies to Hampton Roads, not government, right? So if we could, number one, there's one thing to rep your city. I'm not mad at that, but take a broader look at Hampton Roads in general and say, okay, how can I strategically partner with people in other cities to do something larger than just doing something in my city? And then make sure we go patronize each other's businesses, man, when we do things. We don't got to support, I get you, but make sure we go patronize, spend the money with somebody, right? Talk to other individuals who are doing great. I don't know if y'all talked about Blair Durham and what she's doing with Black Brand. If you got a business and you're not tied to what she's doing, you're making a huge mistake, right? That's somebody who's given us a platform. I mean, she's done more with scraps of money than larger organizations could be doing in Hampton Roads. Tying yourself to somebody like that will give you and your message, your ability to expand more influence in the area. I say that.
Thank you.
Quick plug. Blair's phenomenal. The Black Chamber of Commerce, that is who she is. Right now, there is money on the table. I believe $750,000? Yes. $750,000 for Black and Latinx, Black businesses in Norfolk and in Portsmouth. So if you're a Black business and you're here and you're in Norfolk or Portsmouth, you reside or your business is in one of those cities, you're able to apply for that money. Now, yes, there's certain things you need to have together. Like if you're a business, you can't be a business on in your brain and on Instagram. She's gonna ask for that paperwork. But that's one of the things that we have to do is we have to get ourselves together because when the money is available, when I find it, I'm making calls begging people to come get this money. You need legal help? That's what this money will pay for. You need to have an attorney that you can meet with? That's what this money will pay for. A CPA, marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So the possibilities are endless. The support is there. It's also about us connecting. As Don mentioned, doing your due diligence also. So I just had to plug that because there's money on the table. City of Norfolk also has $275,000 for Black and Latinx businesses. I'm having a meeting next week to find out how many of these businesses have applied because there is a deadline. But, we have to stop the idea of no one's here to support us, but no, the support is there and we're not here taking advantage of it. So a part of this is accountability. And finding that information, come see me. I know this ends I'm not leaving until I spoke to everyone who needs to speak to me. I'm making myself available. But I need you to come talk to me because one of our things that, and once again, I'm not speaking for you, Don, but a part of us being your representative is this is how we get information to you. We understand that traditionally there was no conversation. I didn't have anyone on council. That's why we're here. It's not because it's cool just to be elected. This is work. But it's also because this is hard work and hard work. But the way that we advance and we help our people is by, millions of dollars are on the table. There's stuff that I'm researching for a friend now who has a grassroots organization that he wants to do as it relates to reducing recidivism and reducing gun violence in his community. And I found a $2.5 million grant. That's what my job is to go help the people who say, I need you and I need you to be my plug. But you got to connect with us.
I'm gonna make this quick. I promise.
Go ahead.
Hey, EJ, slide over to me. And your question was, how do you get 10 of us in this room to start something? Right? That was your question, right? Go talk to 9 people and get their phone numbers and make a group chat and start right now by you. Don't wait for nobody else in this room. You start it. And that's 10 people right there. And then you go get another 9, that's 2 10 people group. You can ask anybody in here for their phone number, that's 2 10 groups. That's how you start. You don't wait for nobody else. You don't wait for the event to happen. You don't wait for her to do something. You go do it. You said 9. Go get 9. No, I respect it. That's what I'm saying. But I'm answering your question. How do you get 10 people? Go get 9.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Anyone else in the...
What's going on? Like the gentleman that's from Philly, I'm from Jersey. I was transplanted via Navy. So I've been here in the 757 since 2010 to 2016. Then I went to Cali. Now I'm back to the Best Coast. So I've been here. So I grew up on the East Coast. My parents coming from Cuba. My experience is a little different. Traveled a lot down to Miami. I know the East Coast very well. A lot of the questions and statements that were made up here, I hear them all the time. So as a traveling dude, I just came back from Panama City, Panama. I was in PR, I was in Ponce, I was in La Perla. So whoever knows what that is, that's the hood in PR. So I get around, but like we're talking about, at the end of the day, accountability. She said it. Oh, I put out a t-shirt, it looks good. Homeboy, why didn't you buy it? Maybe it's not that good. Maybe you, like he said, wait your fucking turn. People just, damn, my bad.
My son's here, bro. Only I can curse at him.
I got 4 kids too, my bad. So at the end.
Only I can curse at him.
Okay. So it's just a statement, not a question. But at the end of the day, I was recently at an establishment late night talking to some gentleman from Portsmouth. And he's like, like that. Well, you guys are talking about this area is not good, this and that. I'm like, bro, you're the one that makes this area. You're the one that starts changing the conversation. You're the one that starts saying, hey, Portsmouth is not as bad as people make it out to be. And I'm just saying, we the people, we're the ones that got to make this change. And like he said, we'll make that 100 million of that Billy. So we here.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Is there anyone else with a question for the panelists? Yes, please.
Testing, COVID testing. I just want to say, with all due respect, first, thank y'all just for having this just conglomerate of individuals to help the community to touch back with us. So thank you for that. It's not really necessary. It is a question, but it's okay. And it's kind of a statement because it's kind of a gift all in itself because I just want to find out something for myself and also enlighten at the same time. But I gotta ask this question in order to make sense of it all. And it's not just towards y'all, it's towards everybody. I mean, it's fine, there's no cursing or anything, but it's just something informative to open everybody's eyes, because knowledge is a big thing to me, and you emphasize that, right? I'm from Portsmouth. I've been in there originally. I'm from Jersey too, Patterson, Passaic County. Born April 15th, 1990. That's tax day for any of y'all who do. But I just wanted to know, here's my question. It's kind of 2 questions. Is everybody aware of the word twerking? Okay, that's the first question. Now, my second question is, are any of y'all knowing the word Mapuka, Mapouka. Do any of y'all know that? Okay, and this is the enlightenment part. Mapuka, Mapouka. Y'all can look this out yourselves. That translates literally to shaking of the behind. It's actually South African.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Is this a? Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Is this a question about entrepreneurship or business or the leadership of the neighborhood? Because hold on. Because we got kids, we got young adults, we got older people here. Maybe that's a conversation we can have privately with this group, bros. I don't think that's a conversation we need to have right here. I get it. I think we should hold that question. You can ask us right here, this whole panel, right after the panel. No, we'll talk about it later. I understand.
I wasn't going to go anywhere else. You did exactly what I was trying to find.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
We
it.
could talk right after this, bro. I promise. We ain't going nowhere.
Offline.
I'm trying to be a teacher, and there's nothing important for anybody of my field.
I got you. We're going to talk. I promise all of us,
Thank you.
the panel, everybody's going to talk to you after.
All right. Where are we on time?
Go ahead. Can we get a question? I don't think we've had a question.
Okay. Thank y'all so much. We're not going to get to everyone's questions because we do have a hard stop. And just want to say thank you to all of the panelists here for all of your insight, bringing your talents and gifts to this conversation. Thank you, Naya Nell and Everyday Dope Life. Thank you, Ty Warder Waves. I hope you all got a lot from this conversation. Coming back here in March, right? And okay, I'm gonna let Naya get some more detail about that.
Yeah, so this is part 1 to a 3-part series. Our intention was to do Black History Month. We'll do Women's History Month as well, and then we'll come back in May for Mental Health Awareness Month. So I want to thank all y'all for coming out and being here today. It's all about us. We do these things for the community because we are the community in which we're trying to reach. So thank you all again. Thank you to the panelists for giving us your time and your insight and expertise. Please utilize them while we're here. And I want y'all to stick around real fast so we can take a group picture before y'all disperse.
Hey, y'all give it up for the moderator, too, yo. She did amazing.
Miss Sasha Spruill, yes. We actually started this platform in 2019? Matter of fact, it was 2020, directly before the pandemic. And Sasha helped curate this whole experience, the conversation. Literally did that with us. So thank you so much, sis, for being here. And yeah, meeting of the minds. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for coming out, by the way. Give it up for yourselves out there.